Hello, Facebook. It's time for the Ask Dr. Love podcast. Wow, that was a quick 40 seconds. It's time for you to ask your questions. Okay, and welcome. So we've got a lot of information for you. I'm going to drop some pearls of wisdom, but today we're going to talk about Qigong, obviously. We've missed a lot in the last 6 weeks. We missed the first day of spring. We missed the drum circle. We missed the bonfire. Some of you all missed Passover. A lot of you missed Easter. I know I missed Good Friday. There's a lot of things we've missed. How do you stay calm during the quarantine? How do you stay quiescent in the face of calamity? So there's a lot we have to be thankful for. And I want to tell you about some of the things that I noticed. I noticed I sleep better. I sleep deeper. I'm used to working on people. I'm always using my hands, doing things. The tension in my hands is much less. I'm calmer. I drink more water. I eat less food. I go to bed earlier, and I still wake up at 5:30 in the morning, full of energy, ready to jump out of bed and seize the day. And all you lay-a-beds, you're like, I had one of my Qigong students say, I slept through all 3 of my alarms. Can't help you, dude, and I hope you're listening. So, everything's up to you. I keep saying, if love is the answer, what's your question? So I've got all the answers for doubt, uncertainty, fear, worry, obsession, compulsion. I've got the answers for that. We can fix anything, because I keep saying, if you were God and you were going to invent human beings, wouldn't you invent them so they would be self-repairing, self-adjusting? Okay. And we know that our emotional states drive all of our choices. They affect our choices. They affect the words that we use. Words are important. And the interesting thing is, I'm writing 3 books simultaneously. Having all this time has allowed me the luxury of going back to writing books. And I found some poems and song lyrics that I wrote a couple years ago. And I was like, wow, this is a good poem. This is a good song. So in the coming weeks, we're going to share that with you. But tomorrow is World Tai Chi Qigong Day. And in 1999, I met Effie Chow at I think it was the 3rd World Congress, First World Congress, Third World Congress of Qigong in San Francisco. And my Qigong student, David Wei, who had lived in Wudang Mountain in China for 5 years. So he saw my Qi dance video that I did back in 2011. And he called around until he found somebody who knew me, Brother Lester, who teaches Tai Chi down in Fort Lauderdale. And Lester's like, I know that guy. So David flew to see Lester, and they already had an online relationship, and the two of them drove up to Boca to see me. And instantaneously, sparks flew. We automatically self-combusted. We went to the beach, and we were all doing Qigong at the beach. It was the most fantastic thing. That was in 2011. But I'm talking about 1999, when I went to meet Effie Chow in San Francisco. And Effie Chow was like, "Who are you? Why are you here? You're not Chinese." Because it was sort of like the Chinese American Qigong Association. And so there's the American Qigong Association, which is run by Effie Chow, and then there's the National Qigong Association, which was run by my friend, who I can see his face. His name escapes me right now. Anyway, so I belong to both National and the American Qigong Associations, and they both invited me to become a speaker the following year. And they said, "There's something about you, and we don't know what it is, but is there something in particular you'd like to teach?" I was like, wow, yes, there is. So Effie Chow gave me my first platform, and in 2007, 2009, I invited her, no, 2005, she invited me to Washington, D.C., where she was a presenter. So I flew there, and then I assisted her. That's 2005, guys. And that's that year, that same year, I met Jonathan Fields. And Jonathan Fields was the head instructor of the martial arts school, Lost Legacy Martial Arts, under my friend Phoenix. So Phoenix was the owner of the school, and Jonathan was the head instructor. And that became my martial arts family. 2005, yeah, that was a long time ago. So anyway, after a year, Jonathan became an instructor, and then he went to acupuncture school, and he just finished his PhD program. So I don't know why he's not here right now, but we'll have him on again next Friday. Doesn't matter. Because 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, we've been doing Qigong. And I'm not smarter than you, and I'm not better than you. I'm just more consistent than you. That's the only difference. So I remember Will Smith. You may remember Will Smith. We're from the same neighborhood in West Philadelphia, like blocks apart, like 5-6 blocks away from each other. Of course, I didn't know him in Philly, but that's another story. So Will Smith said, "You may be a better actor than me. You may have more connections than me. But the one thing you will never do is outwork me. Because my work ethic is 500% higher than anybody I know." So my mentors, Donald King Andrews, and he said to me, "Always be consistent. Never waver from your desire. Always be who you are. Never let anyone distract you from your purpose." I was 25 years old when he told me that, and I never forgot it. And he said, "You are your uniform. You are your conversation. So make sure your uniform and your conversation are consistent." So once I met Master Li and I decided that Qigong was what I really wanted in my life, I never wavered. When it snowed, Master Li would call me on the phone and say, "Why aren't you here?" And I'm like, "Master Li, it's snowing." "So, It's snowing, so what? Come. I said, but we can't do it. You come to my apartment. Master Lee, it's a rainstorm. So, you come to my apartment. And we'd go in his place and he'd move all the furniture away. And his wife would be complaining in the background and we would do Qigong. He never wavered. So, at the end of his life, he called me on the phone and said, there's something I want to transmit to you. And I'm going to die in 90 days. And I'm like, oh, Master Lee, you're kidding. You're not going to die in 90 days. And he's like, yes, I'm going to die. You must come. So I went to see him and he said, I'm going to transmit my family lineage to you. And I was like, whoa, wait a second, time out. I don't want to be the Qigong master. I just want to use it. I just want to do it for me. I don't want to be the teacher. And he said, you are chosen. You have to do this. Do not let my family Qigong die. So at that point, I was stuck with it. That was 1994. 1999, I didn't have one student. I didn't even try to get students. I was just doing the Qigong for me. And then Master Lee came to me in a waking dream. I will never forget. It was 8:30 in the morning. The sun was shining. I was on the beach. And he just literally materialized in front of me like Star Trek. And I was like, is anybody else seeing this? And he said, why are you not teaching? Why have you not written the book? Why have you not done the video? Why are you not having students? Why are you not teaching my Qigong? And I was like, I was stammering because I couldn't believe that 5 years after he was dead, he was standing in front of me with the finger in my face. And I was like, okay. The very next day, a woman stopped me and said, I've been watching you for weeks. Can you tell me what you're doing? So I told her, and it turns out she was the Olympic coach for the Romanian women's gymnastics team. And she wanted to study with me, and she looked like she could just bend me and break me like that. But yet, she was my first student. And then the next day, a guy who lived in my building, who was a professional photographer, he said, I've been watching you. Would you like to have some photographs of what you do? And I was like, wow, yeah, that'd be great. So I got my first Qigong uniform. I had one ordered for my friend and then my student, and then we were off to the races. I wrote the book. A few months later, a couple visiting from Michigan on vacation saw me on the beach. They did Qigong with me every day for a week, and they said, we'd like to video you, no charge. They flew back several months later with all their equipment. 3 days, we shot the first Blue Dragon Immortal Qigong video. And we did that for 10 years, and then I had to reshoot it, and then we reshot it, and that one is still available. But the reason I'm here today is because from 1994 to 2004 to 2014 to 2020, 26 years later, all the people I met between 1999 and 2009, in a 10-year period, all those friends of mine are sick today with arthritis and joint pain and headaches and diabetes and digestive upset and low testosterone and borderline cancer with tumors and whatnot. And I kept saying, you got to do Qigong, you got to do Qigong, you got to do Qigong. Now, my phone is ringing off the hook. Is it too late? Can I still do Qigong? And I tell you guys every week, what you do today affects your health 20 years from now. Consistency is the key. So we're going to do some Qigong tomorrow. 20 minutes. We're going to do a special class online tomorrow. Go to qigongmasters.com and register. We're also going to do New Life Expo online on Sunday. We're also going to do a Fertility Expo online, and I'm going to be speaking at all of these events. So I hope you don't get sick and tired of the message, which is you've got to get up, you've got to breathe, you've got to meditate, you've got to visualize, you've got to move the energy through your meridians. Breathing is the single most important thing you can do. So, any questions? I think we have some questions left over from yesterday. Michael Reed had a question about diet. Do you recall that from yesterday? No.
No, I don't, actually.
So, I think he asked a question about what was the best breakfast food. I think that's what it was. What was the best food to eat for breakfast, and how would you prepare it? I think that was what was his question. So I was trying to explain to him a few months ago that if you live in a cold environment, then a hot cereal is great to eat for breakfast. But if you live in a hot environment, then fruit is the best food to have for breakfast. In fact, I see a bowl of fruit right over there. So, fruits for breakfast if you live in a hot, damp environment. Hot cereal if you live in a cold, damp environment. So your breakfast food changes based upon your geography and your ecology. So, maybe we have some other questions about what to eat for lunch. What about salads? I'm going to be posting on Instagram today one of the better salads that I've made with black carrots and baby zucchini and brown tomatoes and broccoli sprouts and scallions. I'm on fire with making up new salads. And you can eat vegetarian every day. I'm even making new dressings. So all this will be in the course, Cooking with Dr. Love, Spread the Love, Monday. Monday we're going to start giving some recipes on the pesto. And just so you know, there's not going to be a webinar tonight. We're going to completely revamp our way of doing webinars, and we're going to start again in June. So don't get upset, don't get excited if you don't see the webinars. We're revamping that whole approach. So, do we have any questions? No questions. So, World Tai Chi Qigong Day, a guy by the name of Bill Douglas wrote a book called Tai Chi for Dummies. And I thought it was an excellent book. I didn't like the title so much, but I definitely liked the book. And so he combined two different types of Tai Chi and showed what Tai Chi was all about. Now, Tai Chi is Qigong. Martial arts is Qigong. Kundalini Yoga is Qigong. So, Qigong is an umbrella that includes martial arts, spiritual alchemy, and of course the medical healing arts, which is my particular focus as a doctor of Asian medicine. So we started with Bill Douglas, and that was cool. And then we did with Lester, we did Tai Chi with Lester. Of course, I studied Tai Chi with Dalu back in New York, way back in the day. But now we want to bring all that forward. And so Bill Douglas combined Tai Chi and Qigong as a day. And now I think he's in 57 countries. But tomorrow we're going to be with Lama Tantrapa, who's actually Russian. And there's going to be 10 speakers, I believe. Yes, there's going to be 10 speakers. I'm going to be one of the 10 speakers. I'll be speaking at 3 o'clock. QigongMasters.com. So I hope you tune in. So I want to say hi to Amueku, who's my Qigong master in Bermuda. I want to say to Adam Hussein, who's my Qigong student in Ghana. I want to say hi to Servia, who is my Qigong student in Estonia. And Sophie, who's my Qigong student in Aruba. And Vianney, who's my Qigong student in Belize. So I've got Qigong students in 16 countries. So if you want to join the class, loveqigong.com. That'll get you the registration for the online course. And now people are asking me about how they can actually become Qigong instructors. So we'll go into that on Monday in the podcast. So today we want to keep it about World Tai Chi Qigong Day. The question I remember from yesterday is there a manual for self-healing? And that is the Blue Dragon Qigong. That is the manual for healing. And how can we strengthen our lungs? Because you've said many times, Dr. Love, that the lungs are the most fragile organ. Well, the best way to strengthen the lungs is breathing exercises. So I'm going to give you 4 breathing exercises right now. So the first one, if you're into yoga, it should be familiar to you, is called pranayama. So you use your thumb, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. We do that 9 times. Then we switch hands. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. We do that 9 times. That's the first exercise. For those of you who do the standing Qigong, then you know this one already. Deep breath in, count to 7 as you breathe out. Deep breath in, count to 7 as you breathe out. And that's what we call counting breath. And we do that anywhere from 30 to 60 to 90 to 120 times. Then the next breathing exercise is inhale on 5, exhale on 10. And that's where your exhale is twice as long as your inhale. So assuming your heart beats at 1 beat a minute, that's a big assumption. Inhale on 5, exhale on 10. You do that 4 times, that's 1 minute. If you do that 40 times, it's 10 minutes. So 40 minutes twice a day. Inhale on 5, exhale on 10. When you really get good at that, after about 3 or 4 months, then you go to inhale on 8, exhale on 16. And then when you really get good, inhale on 10, exhale on 20. That's 2 breaths a minute. And then eventually you'll get to breathe in on 15, exhale on 30. Breathe in on, and then you'll get to breathe in on 20, exhale on 40. And that's 1 breath a minute. So now there's some Indian yogis who can take 1 breath per minute. It's going to take you 3 or 4 years to develop to that point. Then we want to go underwater, and then we want to start practicing our breathing underwater. Well, how do you do it underwater? How do you breathe in underwater? Now that is the trick. And when you sign up for the class, I'll teach you how to breathe underwater. And then The last breathing exercise I'm going to share with you today is called the snake breath. And the snake breath is you breathe in on 10 and you breathe out on 10. You breathe in on 10 and you breathe out on 10. So your inhale is just as slow and long as your exhale. So those are the 4 breathing exercises that you can practice on your own. If you send me your email, I'd be happy to send you the list of the breathing exercises so that you can practice. Now, this morning in Qigong class, we talked about the pineal and the pituitary. So I want to teach you how to stimulate your endocrine system. Now, the sides of your head above your ear is called the temporal lobe of the brain. So if you do a quick brush, we call this the memory brush, for about 10-15 seconds. Now, if you tap with your fingernails, you tap the center line of your head, that stimulates the cranial pump. Then, making little hammers, you tap the base of the skull, also for about 10 seconds. Then you put your finger, your middle finger, your index finger behind the jaw, the middle finger next to the flap. And then you're going to rotate your jaw 8 times to the left. And then reverse. Now, using the opposite side, you're going to pluck your sternocleidomastoid, which we call the SCM for short, and you're going to pluck that 16 times. So that is your thyroid. Right underneath there is your thyroid gland. And you're going to do that 16 times. And when you put your index finger behind your jaw and you rotated your jaw, you were stimulating the pineal. Now we're going to make a loose fist and we're going to tap from the center of the chest to the top of the throat. That midpoint, that's where the thymus is. So we want to tap there about 20 times. So thymus, thyroid, pineal, cranial, parietal, temporal, and the last one we're going to do is the pituitary. So you're going to put your thumb next to the sphenoid process, and with 3 fingers, you're going to pull apart your forehead 8 times. So this is something I teach my students, but I want to make it available to you. If you send me your email address, I'll send you a printout of what that is. And that is how you stimulate your neuroendocrine system. This is part of the self-repair manual that you can get once you become a member of the Blue Dragon tribe. So Eddie, you want to add anything? Any last words?
I'm good.
You're good. Okay. So how's our time look?
We're all done.
We're all done. So if you want to ask a personal question, you can go to, you can text at Ask Dr. Love to 81010. And then when you get a reply, then you can ask your question. And that's how you can make an appointment to see me, telemedicine, and we can go from there. So we got no questions today. It's Friday.
Somebody asked a question on YouTube.
Okay.
How do I get back into my daily practice if I'm discouraged by my loss? I'm fat and slow.
by your
It says by my loss.
loss. How do I get back into my...
But now I realize that I stopped practicing. How do I get back into daily practice if I'm discouraged?
Okay, so the question is, how do I get back into my daily practice if I'm discouraged because of my loss? Okay, that sounds like a Tony Robbins question. So how do you get back? You just start by going to lovechigong.com, register, and then you'll have a family to do Qigong with Monday through Friday, 7:30 in the morning. The classes are archived, so once you become a member, you can still access those classes. You can access the previous week's classes. So Love Qigong, Qigong, lovechigong.com, register, join the class, see you on Monday. That's a very common situation that people have. I call them used to be's. I used to be good. I used to be a tennis player. And now I just stopped. And I'm just bored with life and circumstances got me down. So the only thing you have is your heart and your lungs. That's all you got. Your heart never stops beating and you have to be conscious on the out breath. And so your diaphragm, when you breathe out, that's what pumps the blood. Okay, never forget that. When you breathe out, that allows the blood to go into the lungs. So pick it up. What's his name?
Who?
The guy who asked the question.
I don't know. There's no name.
There's no name. Okay, so you need to text me at Dr. Love, at Ask Dr. Love to 81010. And then you'll get a reply and then we can establish a dialogue. I'd like to help you get back on your path. Okay, so today was kind of a down day. I was really expecting Sifu Jonathan Fields to show up. He had a new baby. Maybe something came up. But at any rate, we'll reschedule him for next Friday. We were going to have Kristen Camella from Biohackers next Friday. But just keep checking in. Ask Dr. Love podcast. You can ask Siri, you can ask Google, you can ask Alexa, and the show will come up. Ask Dr. Love. Siri, play Ask Dr. Love podcast. So thank you all for watching. Usually is livelier than this. I don't know. It's the weather. It's the uncertainty. It's the doubt. It's the president. I don't know. I don't know what it is.